Alright, hello my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Tales of Maj'Eyal with Cephalopocalypse, the Cultist of Entropy. We just finished the Tier 1 dungeons, and so we're gearing up to go into Tier 2. Let's take a quick look at the character, just to give you some ideas. Oh, we actually can level up as well, just to remind us what was going on. So I have been using primarily stacking Nile, using any abilities that cast 2 spells at once in order to activate Unravel Existence, summoning a Herald of Oblivion, which does tons and tons of damage and is really strong. With these points, we are going to, in generics, I'm going to continue to max Preordain, get this to 5 as soon as we can. This gives us a chance to cause enemies to fail talent usage, which makes them just lose a turn. Really, really strong ability. Here, do I want Reality Fracture? We get these up to level 3. I don't think we want any more points in... I guess we should just get our 1 point in Pierce the Veil here, and then we have a chance of these showing up as the improved rifts. We'll also max out Magic, and continue to max Constitution. Looking really good. Next thing we're going to get is we get to unlock Chronophage when we get our next category point, and that will give us a whole extra layer of offense. But for now, things are going really well, and we're also only a few levels away from our first Prodigy point. Let's head back to the surface. Gonna just quickly do a little bit of shopping as well. If you're bored by shopping, just skip ahead a couple minutes, but it's very important to check the shops because at level 20, the shop's refreshed. Anything we want here. Combat speed plus 10%. So combat speed is attacks. It doesn't include casting speed, like spell casts. So this would be really, really good for a melee character, but I think is not as good for us. Let me pop that into my normal inventory just in case, just because that's a very cool stat to have available. Mental crit chance doesn't do anything for us. A little bit of spell power. Our current boots are better though. Alright, none of these are particularly good. A little bit of movement speed on those boots, which is worth keeping in mind. But let's just transmogrify everything and head back to the surface. Alright, let's take a look in this town. We're looking for improvements to our rune setup. So right now, like a lower cooldown Shatter would be really nice. Better regeneration. Our regeneration is pretty weak, or any form of healing. And our Blink rune currently is really bad. So we're hoping to find something a little better. Cooldown 14, range 5. That is quite a bit better than what we have right now, I believe. Right now we've got, yeah, cooldown 18, range 4. So it's definitely an improvement. Let's keep that one in mind. Cloak of the Void Stalker gives us a blink, but nothing too major. No better staves than what we have. Spell Hunt Remnants are interesting gloves, but they're anti-magic. They're arcane disrupting, so you have spell failure chance if you have them on. They can be used to do some cool stuff if you can destroy arcane items with them and level them up, though. But not for this character. Alright, looks like nothing here that we want in particular. We're also just looking for more max HP. Our max HP isn't bad because we have a couple max HP items and we've been leveling Constitution, but more never hurts. Let's go over to... Oh, let's not fight this patrol. I'm a little worried if I step one to the left, one to the right there, the patrol is going to move up, so let's go around the other way. There's a chance we trigger a quest doing this also, because there's a quest that can trigger on the world map at this point. We can't go to Dearth also, because it's currently full of lightning elementals. I guess we'll stop in at Engelwin first. Here's our buddy the Apprentice Mage. Let's check the rune shop, or the infusion shop. Some really bad regeneration infusions. Wow, that is a very, very unlucky shop. On the other hand, this ring is pretty interesting. It gives you the ability to cast a tidal wave that slowly expands out from you and knocks enemies back. Anything else? We got a stabilizing amulet. We got nothing that... Oh, here's a stun immunity ring. I should probably buy these 2 stun immunity rings, because right now I've got no stun immunity. So yeah, so let's buy these 2 stun immunity rings, and we can use that as part of our getting up to... So what is this one? This is stun 22, getting up to 100% stun immunity, and this one is stun 21. And over here, they've got tools. Yes, I just want to see your staves. All right, nothing here. Head back out. Head to this town. Have to dodge around this patrol again. Primarily just checking the infusion shop here, but I guess I'll check this other stuff. So this one has tools and mind stars. Summon Tentacle is something that I don't mind having access to. Of course, we do have our Clairvoyance Wand that we're like never unequipping, so... And a bunch of wild and movement runes, bad regeneration, so yeah, nothing really that we want here. We can check the armor shop as well. We already have a Belt of Unlife, so we don't need that. Maximum life on that, but I like the all resist on our robe. Let's head back to the world map. Head down to Last Hope. Alright. Any better belts? Belt of the Mystic. I'm not sure. What is our current belt, actually? We've got Belt of the Noble, so we have negative life on our belt, but nothing in particularly good. Yeah, nothing here that we really want. Let's check this for armor, helmets. Still nothing. Robes. All right, this is not looking like a great shopping trip for us. Spirit Walker's belt does give us mana, and some magic. This belt is interesting, but I don't think it's worth losing our maximum life item for. Let's check here. We've got some more bad infusions. Okay. And over here, mirror image rune we saw already. Worse blink runes than the other one. Some more shatter affliction rune that's not any better than what we have currently. All right. I believe that's all that we need to look at in these areas. Let's hide and teleport to Kroshkar. Oh, shouldn't do that in the water because I'll drown. The Wrap of Stone. Okay, now this is an interesting cloak. So this is a cape, and it allows you to activate Stonewall, and Stonewall builds a box around you. So that gives you quite a lot of defensive utility. It also gives you a little bit of physical damage and physical resist. I think the Wrap of Stone is worth having. What's our current cloak? It's 30 maximum life and a little bit of spell save. Yeah, okay, so that's definitely a better cloak for us. Let's buy that, because this gives you basically a whole extra defensive utility option, and this character often wants to just buy a couple turns. So let me put that on. Where'd it go? Here it is. So how this works is, all right, yeah. You cast Wall of Stone and you entomb yourself in a wall, and so now enemies can't attack you for 5 turns, basically. So that was a good find. Over here, they've got, I guess, leave it to our home city to have the stuff that we want. 255 on a 13 cooldown. Our current one is 247 on a 12 cooldown. I guess I'd rather have the shorter cooldown. Mage Lord's Ash Staff. So we want Ash. Also, a couple wands we don't care about. This Mage Lord Staff does give us extra spell power, which is definitely something that we want because we don't want enemies resisting our Nile applications. And then this one is just a bunch of melee weapons, so nothing there that we particularly want. All right, so I'm going to pass on that, but we'll go buy that Blink Rune. I'm not going to that town because that's Ziggur, who are sending these hostile patrols after us all the time. All right, and we get this range 5 Blink Rune, so this is a nice small upgrade for us. We'll use that and replace our current Blink. And then it's time to go do the Dearth quest, because that will also let us check the shop there. So we're heading to Dearth. This will be full of lightning elementals. So this can be quite dangerous if you like walk out and aggro a bunch of them all at once. So I'm just going to do a little bit of stepping, stay behind the wall, use my clairvoyance. We're going to Dark Whispers them, because they will shoot lightning at you, which means it can be quite difficult to resist all of their damage. So notice that we are actually taking quite a bit of damage. So if you happen to aggro a bunch of these enemies all at once, you can really have trouble with them. Let's pop our regeneration because we were getting a little low. And then I'm going to wait for some cooldowns to come back. Step over one, use clairvoyance, nothing there. We've got this guy down here, which we knew about. It did summon a nightmare there, so there might be an enemy coming around the corner. Let me pop regeneration. Just gonna step around the corner here. Looks like nothing. Wait for my regeneration to come back. We'll step up to here and use clairvoyance again. All right, there's two of them out here. Not sure why I didn't get those with the clairvoyance sight. Taking quite a bit of damage from some of these enemies, but just wait for our cooldowns again. And we'll step over. See this guy. Continue to just use regeneration every time we fight an enemy as well, just in case something pops out at us. Here's one of the ultimate Guelgaroths. All right, let's put the Void Monolith next to them and give them a little something to worry about. Our rifts are actually increasing our damage quite a bit here, so that's always nice. Gonna just pop this to get rid of the entropy and pass a turn a few times. Get my Void Monolith back. Still no enemies. Unless they're resisting my track effect. If they're all clustered up at the top of the level. Yeah, there's one. Alright. Killed that, and then we'll step around here. Rest a few turns. Use this to see if there's anything on the other side of this building. Alright, it was hiding in this corner. Got him. Alright. So we've completed the Storming the City quest. Rescued the town of Dearth. Or completed the first part of the Storming the City quest and rescued the town of Dearth. And They will very kindly let us check their shops again. So they have a Lantern of Health. I think we already have a Lantern of Health, right? We're using, yeah, plus 43 and minus 40. So we've got actually a quite good Lantern for survivability. Let's take a look at their runes and regeneration. 230 on a 13 cooldown. Still not as good as what we've got. Take a look at their armor. Couple max life armors, but I think still not as good as our current robe. Which our current robe, just to remind myself, is the Spider Silk Robe of Spydry, which doesn't give us any spell power, so we'll want to replace this at some point. But it gives us armor and armor hardiness, makes us much more resistant to physical damage and melee enemies. So for now, I think this one's pretty good. And then let's check here. Nothing that we particularly want here. Okay, great. So that's the shopping at the level 20 shopping done. Only minor upgrades, but overall worth doing, of course. And the Wrap of Stone was a really good find. That will be like best in slot until pretty late in the game for us, probably. All right. So now I'm going to go I'm going to go explore the world map and look for another quest to proc. And also just find where everything is. So as we run around here, we'll eventually get this event where we enter the tunnels. I think this can start spawning as of level like 12 or something. But anyways, there's a whole bunch of rogues here, and they are invisible typically, but we have our handy clairvoyant wand, which will let us see where they are hiding out. All right, there's no wall, but we know this guy is on the other side of this wall. I could dig through to him, but I'm just going to spend a couple turns passing, pop this. We still know there's an enemy here and no other enemies around. So this is like a maze of tunnels. It's filled with traps as well. And most of the traps summon a big pile of rogue enemies around you. So it can be pretty dangerous if you are unprepared, and you can take quite a bit of burst damage. That's funny. We actually got a layout. Oh, no. Okay, there's a tunnel down here. I was thinking we got a layout where you actually couldn't clear it out unless you had a pickaxe. Still nothing around. All right, there's an enemy through that wall. We'll rest here and... All right, we know there's an enemy down here, so let's trigger this. Oh, he's running around the other corner. That's okay. Let me just pop Reality Fracture. We'll summon a big ton of rifts to go after him. Alright. That enemy is dead. We have 5 turns of track, 6. Alright, so we know there's an enemy down the corridor over here. Thanks, Clairvoyance. I believe that means it is dead. Let's pass the turn a couple times and pop Clairvoyance again. Yep. This zone on lower difficulties is not very dangerous, but I think on Insane is actually quite dangerous. It doesn't have rare enemies in it, usually, but the extra damage that enemies do means these rogue-type enemies can just, like, one-tap you from full health often. There's also a treasure chest, so if we're feeling greedy, we can open the treasure chest, and I am probably feeling greedy. Let's Dark Whispers around the corner. So we know that guy's up there. Nothing I can do usefully here, so we'll pass the turn, put that there, block him off with the Void Monolith, hit him with Cacophony, finish that guy off, and then Let's use Clairvoyance again. That should show us, okay, there is a rare over here. So a rare thief, always something to keep an eye on, and a couple more thieves. Yeah, there's no path down this way. So from this tile, we can step one down and trigger the enemy. I could also do something like cast Reality Fracture and see if the rifts appear and aggro it. Let's try that. Looks like they did not. They seem to have appeared like on the other side over there. All right, so we'll just aggro it the natural way. Let me block him off too with this. We've got Nile stacked to 1 on it. Let's do Prophecy of Ruin. Nile still at 1, so this guy resisting our effects quite significantly. It's a bulwark, so as long as it doesn't get next to us, we should be okay. Nile up to 2. Let's hit it with 2 more prophecies and just see what happens there. We can't see it anymore, so we can't stack Nile on it, but we can still just attack it when it comes out around the corner. Let's just fire this bone spike down the corridor as well. All right, so there's the little cut purse there. Not sure if we killed the big guy or if he's just hiding still. Nope, was just hiding. So here's this thief. Actually took very little damage, but is stacked to 4 Nile, so we should be able to get it soon. Let's get it with the Dark Whispers, see if we get it to 5, and then I will blink backwards using our brand new blink rune. Hit it again, and that summons the Herald, and that should end this fight. Alright, pop Clairvoyance just in case of any more surprises. Oh, there's more enemies down here, which we actually can't get to, again, without... Actually, I'm not sure if this zone is pickaxeable. Yeah, because it's a maze, so we actually can't pickaxe through this wall into the rest of the zone here. Alright, I'm going to pop my regeneration and then step on this chest. We summoned 2 rares right away. So, very first thing we're going to do is blink backwards from these guys. Actually, I should have blinked to this tile and stopped this one from being able to see me. So, minor error there. Oops. Had some spell failure chance. No, casting speed. I have a bunch of speed reductions on me, and we took a ton of damage there. So let's pop both our Shatter runes and get rid of those. This Annihilator enemy really hurt me quite a bit there. We also have lost a lot of our regeneration effect already. So let's put that up. Got this shield. I need to probably step around the corner. We could try Stonewall to block it off from me. This is a very difficult fight right now. So we have 36 regen, we have 100 shield from our Void Stars. We did block it off with the Void Monolith at least. Let me hit it with Prophecy of Ruin and so on. Oh, why can't I see the enemy? All right, casting that seems to have taken, because we have slowed global speed, that took more than one action. So it actually got to kind of disappear briefly. So I'm going to step around the corner and get our regen back off cooldown. We will Dark Whispers around here. And I'm going to use the Reality Fracture. These rifts should be able to do some damage to it as well. Let's pop Clairvoyance just to see where all those enemies went. All right, so this one's at 91%. This one's coming around the other side. Can't quite get it there. Can't quite get it there. So let me pass the turn for now. Let these guys move. So it moved here, I believe. Yeah. So it was in this tile, which we can tell because the tile's revealed even if the enemy is currently invisible. I'll use Cacophony here, even though that does remove one way that we can get it with Nile. Actually, that might not have worked because I can't currently see the enemy, so that was probably a mistake. This is going to be a slow and complicated fight because this is two very difficult enemies. So let me pass the turn here. Or maybe I should step up and start trying to hit this guy, but that one's not currently aggroed to me, so I'm going to pass. This one's coming back. I can't quite get it yet, so let me... I don't want to step into its line of sight because it will then just immediately shoot me and I'll take a bunch of damage, and I'm low on Void Stars, so I don't currently have a shield. Also, I've got my Shatter Runes are coming off cooldown in 2 rounds, so I'm going to wait one more turn. We'll put Dark Whispers on it because we know it's in this tile now. Now we know it's in this tile, so let me put up this explosion effect. And it walks towards me. It has taken quite a bit of damage. We briefly got a glimpse of it there. I can't Entropic Gift it because I can't currently see it, so I'm going to pass one more turn. Actually, I'm going to preemptively activate Regeneration. Enemy is in this tile, has 152 health. Let's get it with a Dark Whispers. Place this Void Monolith. I kind of want it to step into this tile, so if I Void Monolith here and it steps into this tile, maybe I'll be able to do that. I want to get out of the Miasma effect because it is a Annihilator. It casts this Miasma on the ground, which massively debuffs us and does all sorts of horrible things. Let's use Accelerate to increase my movement speed and then take one step backwards. And then I'm going to keep Dark Whispering around the corner. It's placed this Flame Turret, and it's just attacking my Void Monolith currently, which is what we want. I'll use the Reality Fracture to get some more rifts. That may have aggroed this guy around the corner, but I think that's okay. That one's just a bulwark, so it's much harder for it to actually do stuff that we care about. Alright, so that one enemy has died. Let's pass the turn. See if the other one is coming around the corner at me. I'm going to step down one and then pass one more turn. Then we can activate our Wand of Clairvoyance. This enemy is coming around the corner, so I will pop my Regeneration Rune as well. Enemy is continuing to approach me from this direction, so we'll Dark Whispers it. I'll Cacophony it. Still doesn't know where I am, so we can kind of just wait while it takes some damage. Now it's going to come back this way because it spawned a hallucination. Oh, it's actually trying to go all the way around. How much is it healing for? Plus 0.29 a turn? Alright, well, we have some time. I'm going to wait for my cooldowns to come back. Use this Clairvoyance Wand again, and I think we can fight this one just kind of naturally, so I'm just going to get up and aggro it to me. Oh, wow, okay. I lied, apparently. I just took an insane amount of damage. Yikes. Alright. Well, let's regenerate. Gonna pop this mostly for the 33-point shield, and then we'll put our 2 curses on it. Took all that damage because it had a War Cry, which did AoE damage, and I didn't have enough Void Stars to generate the shield. Alright, so it's got 2 points of Nile, it has Prophecy of Madness and Treason, so it has longer cooldown talents and should have a harder time attacking me. Do Dark Whispers, we'll do Cacophony. I'm going to attempt to teleport it away. Did teleport it away. Let me then cast these 2 spells on it in an attempt to trigger the Herald of Oblivion, which we did. Gonna cast this because if the guy doesn't die, then the explosion will pin him to the ground, and that will be very valuable. Oop, something exploded. I guess it left a trap on the ground after dying. Let me pass the turn a few more times, and then regenerate, and then rest. Alright, so that was exciting. Grabbed a couple more of those things, and we will rest here. Then on to the next level, which has a secret surprise. Actually, I guess let me walk up here and just clairvoyance, make sure there's nothing cool over in that little corner. Alright, nothing there. Let's hop down into the next level. Okay, so I've got remove confusion or silence. That's pretty useful. Mental removal torque. I think we might have one already. Plus max health and reduce crit damage. Pickaxe is good. Gladiator's ring gives you strength and constitution, so this is... And this also gives us disengage. So let me... Alright, yeah, my rings are really bad right now. We've got a minor stun immunity and some darkness damage. Let's put this on. So this gives us just another... It's a bad escape option, but it's another escape option. We'll put that on instead of this for now. And I'll hang on to this, because I haven't checked my inventory recently. Pass a turn to get my charms back off cooldown. And then we'll go talk to the merchant and the assassin lord. And then we will work out some kind of arrangement. You'll have to do some dirty work for me, and then you'll be bound for me. Well, I suppose it's better than dying. And we finish the trapped quest. We side with the assassin lord because there's benefits for that later on. Alright, let me continue to explore the world map. Got the cat. We can give him some troll intestine, and then he will love us. Strange Portal and Ancient Elven Ruins. Those are both dungeons we're not going to do until much later, although the Strange Portal does give us some cool options for this character, in this class in particular. Continuing to just explore the world map. We found the Ruined Dungeon. That's going to be somewhere where we can get a lot of random and powerful artifacts later on, which is really good. Let me just keep on walking one tile at a time in case of adventuring parties or patrols. Here's a sneak preview of the next dungeon we're going to do, the Sandworm Lair, which is a cool dungeon. Alright, here's one of the things we were looking to find. We found this Grimly the Hermit. He is one of the alchemists who will give us a quest. Yes, I'm in, of course, and we're going to take the Elixir of Focus for extra class talent points. And let me check, actually, if I have any of those items completed. So, I want a Grimly or Ungrul's quests. Ungrul needs an Iceworm Tooth and a Luminous Horror Dust. Okay, that is going to be pretty late game before we find that one. And then this one needs Greater Demon Bile and Fireworm Saliva. And then we've already got Zorn Fragments. Alright, so got a little unlucky on what random... The items you need to fetch for them are randomly generated. We got a little unlucky on which ones showed up in this instance. Hidden Compound is another dungeon we should be able to do fairly soon. So we won't be able to get that those alchemy quests done until later in the game than you sometimes can. That Diggerant patrol. I really don't want to go down into that narrow corridor with the patrol sort of hanging around. Alright. Did all the old forest exploration. So here's another one of the tier 2 dungeons that we're going to be doing. And then I think that's it for exploration that we need to do right now. I mean, we can explore this little area, but no particular need to do that yet. So, oh, no, that's a patrol. Let's head back around, go down to the beach, and do the Sandworm Lair. So this is, I think, maybe the coolest dungeon in this game. Oh, we got the bad version, though. Ooh, okay. This is still it's really cool still, but this one is worse. You get worse loot, and it's harder because you have to constantly keep moving. So basically, these neutral sandworms are going to wander around burrowing out this sand. After a little while, the sand will collapse back in on itself. If we're where the sand has collapsed, we get buried. So we have to follow these guys, fighting our way along the world. Let me actually use clairvoyance here. While avoiding getting crushed by the unstable sand in the Sandworm Lair. Alright, killed all of those things. We can drop down here. Yep, we got some lore. I'm actually going to step back to here, because this area is stable, because it's near the exit. So some areas are stable. There's like little caves. You can kind of see where we can safely stand. Let me hit, just regenerate and pass the turn. We'll get another Sandworm Burrower coming along soon to help us out, so I'll pass until one shows up. Then we're going to follow it. Activate Clairvoyance just to see if there's enemies. There's an enemy along there, so when this burrower breaches into that cave, we will have to fight. Looks like it has, so let me cast some Void Rifts and Monoliths off into the darkness. Ouch. Global Speed Slow, we're definitely cleansing off. And let me step over here. I really should have gotten a brighter lantern for this area as well. The Clairvoyance Wand does a lot, but only so much in terms of showing us where everything is. So we'll do this again. It's at 3 Nile, so I'm going to use my prophecies. Alright, that killed it. Anywhere there were enemies should be stable, so we can rest here for a bit. Wait for my cooldowns to come back. Oh, try not to get crushed as that bit collapses, and then we're going to wait for another sandworm. So here I am just passing the turn. You can kind of see stuff moving over there. Actually, there's a scroll on the ground, which I kind of want to grab. Even though we already have all that lore. The completionist in me just wants to pick everything up. Oh, another trick you can do with the sandworm burrowers is if you don't like where they're going, you can swap positions with them because they're friendly objects. So you can like hold it still or whatever if you need to. Or redirect it to a slightly different area. That's more important in the normal Sandworm Lair rather than this alternate layout. The normal Sandworm Lair has small sandworms. Let me start with Clairvoyance Wand. We got stunned, so yeah. These gigantic sandworm tunnelers can move through the sand, so we're going to have them come after us. And there's nothing we can do about that. Dark Whispers again. Cacophony again. Give them the old blap. Hit regeneration. So there's an enemy down here. I'm not sure if any of this area is stable. Let me... Ouch. Let me step down. I'm going to cleanse here and then step down. Because I don't know which bits of this are stable, actually. Alright, so it has hit me with a sleep, which we cleansed. And then I'm going to pop my prophecies on it. So if the sand starts collapsing, we're going to have to blink forwards into the enemy. Also, I'm not sure how the Sandworm Burrower managed to create a ghoul. I've never seen that before, but we have a little allied ghoul there. That's very funny. Black holing this ooze. Nile is at 4, so let's try to double cast on it and get it, and then I can... It died, so let me pop Clairvoyant, see what else is down there. Oh, it didn't die. It just looked like it died. It was trying to trick me. Now it died. Alright, but there is a random boss here, and we are basically out of cooldowns. So, what is this guy? It's a Rogue Berserker. I am at a 50% confuse and don't have a Shatter Rune for some time here. If I suspend myself, then I'm going to get caught in the sand wall collapse, so that's definitely a problem. Let's try to activate Blink. We failed because of the confusion. Try to activate Blink again. So I need to get like over here or something where I won't get collapsed on as quickly. I also don't have any Void Stars currently, so I can't summon a... Yeah, and there's another rare over here, so that's also really bad. But we have to fight everything all at once, basically, because the collapsing thing is causing us problems. Let's try to split this boss into 2 guys, and that will buy us a lot of time while it's fighting itself. It resisted the split, so that's super unlucky, and I still don't have my Shatter Rune back off cooldown. This guy's next to me, so I can't Wall of Stone because, again, this area is collapsing. Let me pop Regeneration. We're going to take a bunch of hits, have to shatter as much of that stuff as we can. My Blink Rune still on cooldown. All my other escape options still on cooldown, basically, and we can't move or we're 50% slower because we're stunned. So let me pop Wall of Stone and try to push it away from me. Nope, that didn't work. I'm not sure why that didn't do anything, actually. Enemy has Nile 0. We are dazed and stunned with all of our cleanses not on cooldown. And this stuff is going to collapse on me. I think we might be dead here. I don't have a rift, so let me pop this, try to generate some rifts, and then we can try to teleport to some rifts. That will buy us a little bit of time. So I'm going to be in a collapsing wall, but I did teleport away from the boss here. Unstable, unstable. Yeah, so sand. The nearest stable sand is 5 tiles to my right. That's not good. Let's cast Dark Whispers. Then I need to move, because otherwise the thing is going to collapse on me immediately. So we'll pop this and get a little bit of my movement speed back. Step down and to the right. Being blinded is also really irritating here. Gonna step down and to the right again. Okay, so we did get a spawn of a hallucination. So this was like 3 different... Yeah, so notice that this area is stable. This was like 3 different pods that all procced at once. So that was how we got hit there. So if I make my way down 1 tile to the left, we're on a stable tile, so that's good to know. Let's try to distract them with a Void Monolith. That will also generate me some insanity. Still stunned. My talents cool down twice as slowly, but there's only so much we can do about that. Nile is not proccing on any of them currently, but let's Cacophony and see if we can get Nile up to 2. Nope, they both resisted. Everything is resisting my Nile effects. I have got to increase my spell power. Just need to generate more magic. So yeah, so I'm on an unstable tunnel, but this tile down to my lower left is stable here. So do I want to walk to there? Rogue, Berserker, Marauder, these are all melee enemies. So yeah, so we'll step down 1 into the left to be on a stable tile. Now I don't have to, now I'm not under pressure to move for that reason anyways. And then they're still Dark Whispered, they're still Cacophonied. Let's try to teleport them away. And this will also summon an Entropic Maw. So that should hopefully keep them together. Keep them distracted. Killed 1 enemy. The boss is at 54% health. Put Dark Whispers on it again. It's also at 10 Jinxed, so it does have, we have quite a bit of ability to dodge and cause it to fail talents, so that's nice. Let me transfer. I have a huge amount of entropy damage on me, so I'm going to transfer that to the boss. This area is collapsing, so we might get cut off from it. That would be okay. Then I'm going to Essence Reeve to get a Void Star back, deal a little more damage to it. It continues to resist every Nile application. But it jumped to us, but we killed it. Okay. Whew. Well, I thought I was going to die there, but we didn't die yet, so that's good. I'll pick this stuff up. Oh, wow. We did get the wall collapsing on me because I stepped in the sand there. But let me pop my regeneration. I'll hit Clairvoyance just so we know what's in this little pocket. Then we're going to pass the turn a few times, and then I'll look at those items. So we got Danis Neckguard, which gives us 20% physical resistance and just a bunch of strength and constitution. I guess our current amulet is awful. So even though this one isn't very good for us, it's better. Sure. And the Wheel of Fate is really fun. It's a completely random ring. You equip it, it has random stats, and every 3 levels you can reroll it. You get a bunch of rerolls. We'll start with a bunch of rerolls because we're level 21 already. So let's equip the Wheel of Fate and just see what we get here. Alright, I have to roll it once because right now it's not doing anything. Here's my buddy, the Sandworm, but we're playing with our inventory for now. So let's activate the Wheel of Fate. It currently has rerolls. Right now it is giving 30 confusion immunity, 23 maximum life, a bunch of other immunities that don't matter that much. It's not the best Wheel of Fate I've ever seen, but it's not bad. So I'm going to hang on to this version of it for now. Sand tunnel's collapsing a bunch. We're going to follow this guy up where we can pick stuff up, and then I'm going to pop this Clairvoyant, see if there's anything over in this area. Oop. There you go, buddy. I think there's a wall in between us and this rare. Current location in vault. Interesting. So that means that the tunnel hasn't been dug yet. But I need to be out of its vision when the Sandworm digs that tunnel, otherwise... Oh no, okay, so we did aggro that. These two at least, but this guy can't currently see us, so that should be okay. We'll fight these two normal enemies. I like the sandworm tunnels a lot because they really make you think about every move, basically. Is this guy coming for me now? I thought I saw him move. I'm taking a bunch of poison damage because I don't want to move anywhere where it will aggro to me. Oh, okay. So we generated a rift, which aggroed that guy. So let's get Dark Whispers on him. And let's put up the Void Monolith. Currently has Nile 0. Let's put our prophecies on it. Nile 2. Let's, I guess, just hit it with 2 more prophecies. Try to get it to Nile 4. And then I'm going to pass it my entropy and try to hold it in place. Should have checked it's a Berserker as well. And let's do an Essence Reeve, try to get this Void Star back and summon. Didn't manage to summon. We'll try again. There we go. Summon happened. All right, and are we taking damage from this big gravity field? I think this does damage. Yeah, it just slows us. So I'll step here to where the nearest stable tile is, and we will rest. Pop my regeneration. So we know there's nothing over here. I'm not going to open this chest because you have to fight in this area in such close quarters. It's really dangerous, I think, to open these chests for random bosses. If you get like 2 rares next to you, you have no retreat options, basically. Use my track. And we'll head down into this little cavern. Oh, there's another chest. You do get a lot of chests in this area, but I think the Sandworm Lair is just too dangerous. The tier 2 dungeons in general, especially because this character requires some setup time for fights, so you really want to start fights from a ways away. Let's feel the ground shaking from the west. That just means things are collapsing. Let's pop Clairvoyance and just see if there's any enemies. Alright, so there's something over there on a sand wall tile. That means it's one of the burrowing enemies. And there's a rare. Let's step back here to where the chest is. Not open it, but now we know there's enemies over there, so we can approach it a little more scientifically by Dark Whispersing all of them at once. Popping out this Void Monolith and cacophonying all of them. We've got 2 Nile on it. Get some prophecies down, which killed it immediately, and then I need to start walking to the right a little bit. Get into this area. Yeah, so what's really dangerous is when something like this happens, where it breaches 2 things at once. That's how we ended up in that really difficult fight earlier, where there are 2 little pods connected to one another. Seems like there's nothing in this pod, so I should be safe to... Oh, I was wrong. Are we on a... Yeah, we're on a stable tile. Alright, so the wall collapsed on them. That's funny. So we know there's a couple things here, and there's a rare carrion worm mass. They can't get to me, though, so we're just waiting for another tunneler. And the other reason this zone is so dangerous is that you have to wait for the tunnelers, which means that you kind of start the fights on the terms of the game rather than on your own terms. So like for this character in particular, that's bad because we have drained all our insanity not being in combat. So now we have to start these fights basically as a fresh character every time. Sure, I'll just shoot that one. It died. I'll shoot this one. Didn't die, but I'll shoot it again. Let's pop Clairvoyance and just see. That's weird. Why were they down here? So this is another stable tile. We should be okay to follow this guy. I'm going to pop my regeneration and my clairvoyance again, and then we know we can just hold still if we need to. Looks like there's no rares visible, at least. I would love to get a bigger radius track, because these rares keep sneaking up on me. These enemies also, I think, because they count as in vaults, you can't clairvoyance them some of the time, so that's one of the problems. Oh, also our charm is just a really low power level, so the enemies are resisting the clairvoyance. Nile to 2. Nile to 4. And this should be 6. Yep, got it. And we leveled up to 22, which is nice. Would still love to find an escort with actual track that would let us learn it. That would be really good. Oh, all right. What did we get hit by there? Definitely something off in the corner here. We're in the reduced vision and so on radius. That's not so bad for us. This is a random unique ooze. So let me just, yeah, so this is a sand tile. I'm going to blink backwards to this tile. Oh no, can't move because I can't see it. Because I've got this vision reducing effect in the way. So let's step back one. No, still under the vision reducing effect. Let's pop this. And still can't jump backwards because of this cloud. So let me just keep stepping back. I just want to be on a stable tile further back. Okay, so it popped out at me and hit me real hard. Now I can blink away from it. And pop regeneration. It's got 1 Nile, Dark Whispers, Hideous Visions on it. Let's put up this. That should get us... No, it lost a Nile stack because the Nile stack timed out. Let's get the Prophecies on it. Up to 2. I'm going to pop my Rifts in case I need an emergency teleport. Nile up to 4. I should switch, actually, which Prophecies I have, because I'd rather attach to which of these enhancers, because I'd rather, I think, have them with the Revelationed Madness that can reduce my talent cooldown than the Revelationed Ruin that heals me, because the heal is pretty minor. Decreasing all heals, yeah, we don't care too much about that effect. Let's use Essence Reeve, get a Void Star back. Nile is still at 4. Try to hold it still. Nile is at 5. And one more. Summoned and killed it. Okay, so then I will pass the turn a bunch. Wait for that darkness effect to go away. And we got another staff. And this one is, I think, really good for us. We get... Does this do the darkness damage, spell crit chance, and 15 spell power compared to our current 7 spell power. So it's better just passively. It also gives us damage affinity for nature. So if we are taking nature damage, then we heal. So let's put Penitence on. And then if I pass this, make amends magic user. Oh, hey, what do you know? I've actually never done this with this artifact before. That's cool. Okay, how is it that you speak? Sure. I'd like you to bring forth a different aspect. Let's do star and darkness. So this gives us plus 20% darkness affinity. So we don't actually really... And darkness resistance. We don't really want darkness affinity. I think the nature affinity was better. We want darkness damage. What happens if I... Sorry, this is a little bit of exploration. I'd like to alter your basic properties. All right, well, there was a Lua error. Sure. I've never seen this error. Points left 0. Okay, cool. Well, that's kind of fun. Let's bring forth a different aspect. So mage, I can get affinity to one of these types of things. I think we actually do want it set on, oh wait, physical damage. I can have physical affinity. Does that work? Yes, okay, so then 20% of physical damage we take will be healing instead. So that's a huge bonus, because that's what affinity does. Used to cure up to 5 diseases or poisons, but that does take a turn. Cool, alright, I've never actually used this staff before, so you learn something new every day. This game is very, very deep. We're currently on an unstable tile, so let's use Cacophony, try to generate some hallucinations for those guys, see what large enemies are going to show up. Also, just that extra spell power. Oh, let me also remove this from my hotbar before I cast it again. I'm going to put this down here. Alright, so here we are in a stable area. Pass the turn once more. Pop this. Okay, so there is an ooze over there. I'm going to go over here, wait for this guy to dig out this tile for me so I can pick this stuff up. I should regenerate as well. Pop Clairvoyance, and we'll aggro this ooze. Currently at 2 Nile. I can't cast on it yet, so let's just give it a monolith to aggro to. I'm going to try to teleport it to somewhere I can... Oh, that wasn't quite what I meant to do, but try to teleport it to somewhere I can see it, but where it was behind the monolith was the intention. Hit it with these two, and hit it with these two, and that should summon, which it did. Alright. That's a stable tile, so we'll stand here, pop this, regenerate, and wait a little bit. I should also level myself up. Almost capped on magic here. And then over here, I could get level 2 heavy armor. That would let me wear shields. That's definitely a useful thing to have as well. For now, of course, I'm just going to keep leveling Preordain. And then over here, we can put 1 point in 0 point energy or 1 point in All is Dust. So All is Dust summons a storm, which deals damage, minor damage, but more importantly, it destroys terrain, which can be really useful for giving us paths to go out of this area. But also, each time the storm deals damage, enemies will have any detrimental magical effect with less than 3 duration set to 3 duration, and it lasts for 3 turns. So it's going to tick and deal a ton of debuffs to the enemies over time. So this is going to be a really important tool for us. 0 point energy is also pretty nice. It's a nice little passive that just makes our Void Rifts better. But for now, we're going to go with All is Dust to give ourselves another important tool in our arsenal. I don't currently have track available, so we're going to pass the turn, wait for another guy. Passing a bunch of turns here. Come on, sandworms. Alright, I can see one approaching on the minimap. Here it comes. Haha, alright. Now we can follow you. Pop track just to see what's ahead of us. Alright, so there's another pod of enemies over there. Oh, I should actually have blocked it. Yeah, so we're going to block it from at least until my track is back up. I wanted to block it. Stop it from popping this until I can see what's in here. So now we've got access and we can start blasting. Should have waited a little bit longer actually, because I'm on unstable, unstable. This is all unstable, so I have to step forward. Should have waited a little longer for my thing to come back off cooldown. Let me step back up here, and we're going to wait a little bit more. Just passing the turn until this guy shows up. Really important to fight when I have clairvoyance available, of course, so let's pop that to make sure I have sight of these enemies. This one was actually giving me vision because of the light that it produces, which is kind of fun. Alright, and here is a rare Sandworm Destroyer, a rare Jelly, and another rare Jelly. So this is a very dangerous room. We've got a Solipsist, a Mind Slayer, and a Rogue. Let's pop all his dusts down. And that should increase the duration of the spell effects on them. We got put to sleep, but I'll cleanse that. Then I'm gonna... They should all have Dark Whispers, so let's pop Cacophony. We've got Maj'Eyal 2, 2, and 2. Alright, so our Maj'Eyal stacks got kind of spread out there, but because we have all his dust on these guys, it should be okay. I don't have enough Insanity to cast a Prophecy, so I have to use an Insanity generating ability. Took a big hit there. Let's pop my regeneration. Taking some more hits. This one is uncomfortably damaging. Let me try to teleport these guys all back to here. Think we killed one of them. We've got Maj'Eyal up to 3. Gonna pop this as well on the Sandworm Destroyer. Try to keep them all in place. Maj'Eyal's up to 4. Have my prophecies up, so let's do that. They both died. I'm in this giant pool of acid, so I'm going to teleport forwards behind my herald here so that I can step out of the acid, although the acid ended that turn. And then, are we on stable ground? We are not, so I want to be one tile to the right. This is stable ground, and we'll pass the turn a few times. Pop my regenerate. Now I can explore this little area. This is definitely an easier zone if you have... Oops. If you have a better lantern than I do. Right now we just can't see very far. Guess I should use regeneration while I'm waiting for this other guy to show up. So we're reliant on clairvoyance to actually see the enemies at range, which is not where you want to be. You want to be using it to tell where they are through walls. Oh, this guy just came out of nowhere. Because it's a burrower, so it came after me through the wall. Let's put down this, and now it at least has to go around the huge sandworm burrower to get to us. We'll do that. I'm gonna hit it with Cacophony. Taking some damage here. I'm gonna pop this just to try to cleanse the poison, which didn't work, but that's okay. Also notice that... where is this showing up? Oh no, we don't have physical affinity. We don't have nature affinity. We have physical affinity, so I'm not getting a heal from this poison. But should be seeing if I get hit by physical damage, which we haven't yet. We should be seeing that heal show up. Cleanse that stun, and then I need to hit it with one more tag for Nile, so let's do this. Do the black hole. It dies and leaves behind the big acid pool. I'm going to pop my regeneration so that we don't die in the acid pool, but then I have to follow the sandworm because we weren't on stable ground. Use clairvoyance. Okay, here's some stable ground down here. Let's head down there and grab this stuff. This enemy will come after me, but that's okay. It's just a normal. So we'll just shoot it. Then we have to wait for another sandworm. Regenerate. Oh, we get two at once. What were they doing down here? Probably better off not thinking about that, honestly. Okay, no enemies for 5 turns, so I will pass. I'll just wait for the second sandworm so we can actually use our clairvoyance. Still no enemies here, so I'll step forward until my track runs out. Okay, there's something over here. Let's see if we can aggro it. Currently have this guy trapped, which means that he's keeping the tunnel up for us, which is nice. Then we'll put all his dust around the corner as well. Kind of just zap around the corner. See, we don't know where the enemy is currently, but... Alright, it died. Let's head over to here. Rune on the ground. This unstable sand tunnel I don't trust because that other sandworm was gone. As you see, it collapsed very quickly, so we have to wait for this guy again. Oh no, we don't get that rune? Oh well. It's bypassing that tunnel, so we lose out on that blink rune. It's a range 4 cooldown 13 blink rune, so we don't care. Alright, here's some enemies. We've got some more oozes. Let me put down a void monolith. They're all after the void monolith. Right now, this enemy is... It's a doomed. It's also standing on top of a rune, which is why all that text showed up. Well, all is dust here, and that actually carves out a big chunk of tunnel as well. I'm going to use clairvoyance just so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, and in fact, that shows us another enemy over here. Dark Whispers, which generates a little insanity. We've got 1 Nile on this guy, 4 and 0. So we're trying to trigger on this one. Let's pop prophecies on this one, because we don't have to cast on the guy for the Nile stacks to go on it, although we got unlucky and they bounced to all the wrong units. Nile still at 4. Can we get to 5? There we go. 5. Can we get a 6? No, it died. This one's at 5. It's also going to die. I mean, I guess either way it dies. Okay, we did summon, and so if the other one is still alive, our herald will be able to see it and kill it. Okay, there's something over there. Let me step down here. All right, we've got another rare ooze. Let's block its tile. Pop this. Pop this. It's also resisting all the Nile effects. Man, this one is not getting hit by Nile. Alright, we still got it. Shatter Affliction of the Sneak, absorb 61, cooldown 12. I think that's mildly better than our current ones. Right, that's absorb 32, cooldown 12, and this one is absorb 30 with a 12-turn cooldown. So we want to get rid of our, I guess, power 31. So let's do that. Very mild upgrade, but still better than what we have. So now this one is our one that produces more shields for us, so just worth keeping in mind that that's available. Now I must pass the turn a bunch. Just holding down the 5 key on my numpad, waiting for this guy to show up. This zone, because it's this large map, also kind of lags. So normally when you hold down the pass turn key, this game takes turns very, very quickly, sometimes too quickly. But right now, as you can see, it's just giving those guys a little bit. All right, something threw a grappling hook at me. I forgot to pop my clairvoyant, so that was definitely a mistake. We've got these enemies. This one's in the wall, so I can't get it. Nile up to 2. 3, 4. Don't have the insanity to cast something that does 2 spells at once, but Nile is at 5. Let's prophecy this guy and summon. Killed some of the oozes. Then we're shooting this guy. Black hole him, stop him from getting next to me, while the Herald of Oblivion just goes after him. And down to 22%, but my Herald is gone. So I need to be a little bit more careful now. Let's get a Void Star back. Just deal a little bit of damage, and we'll also just shoot it, and it dies. Okay. This is all unstable. I don't care about that garnet. I'm just going to ignore it. We are not going to open the giant digestive sac again. I just think it's too dangerous to do that kind of thing in this level. I mean, you can get a lot of value out of the treasure chests down here, but having a rare spawn next to you in these really tight quarters with no viable escape options is so dangerous. Do some of this. Nile is at 0 on that one, and 0 on that one. 0 on everything. I think sometimes the Nile isn't working because the game thinks I can't see them, because it thinks they're in a vault. One and one. Let's get this. It's an Oozemancer. We're in a silence zone currently, so that is definitely dangerous, but we seem to have resisted the silence. I should have the delay on my log not be so short, because I keep wondering what's happened. Oh no, this is a mana burn zone, so it's just reducing my resource, but that's just insanity, which we generate very easily. Not as bad for us as other caster classes. I can't see the enemy anymore, so we weren't able to summon our Herald there, but the Herald does seem to have been summoned. Let me step forward and get out of this zone. Alright, so there's still this ooze. I'm not sure why my guy ran away from the ooze, actually. That's a little weird. I definitely do not want to be adjacent to it, so let's teleport to, let's see, is this all unstable? So I'd better teleport to here. It's still next to me, which was, of course, predictable, because I didn't teleport very far. So we'll try to get it distracted. Yeah, I'm not sure why the Herald didn't aggro to this guy. Let me... Don't have a lot of options here right now. I'm just going to put this down. That should pin it in place when the explosion goes off. So I'm going to wait next to it for a couple turns. I'm going to pop these rifts as well. That should both help DPS it and also give us an escape option. So we have a rift over here I can teleport to. Nile doesn't matter because our guy's on cooldown. Ooh, we summoned a little Void Skitterer, which is whacking the guy. So that's nice for us. It was in some kind of invincible form. I really should have read its skills. So this is, yeah, it was an Oozemancer. So it wasn't taking damage in that form. We are silenced right now, so I can't use my Shatter Affliction rune because I'm silenced. Let me pop my regeneration, and then we're going to use our ring. I still have that ring equipped, right? I can use this ring to spring backwards from this guy. That gets us out of that zone. We also have, I could use this to cure diseases and poisons. Don't need to do that. I'm just going to step back. Silence, of course, is really bad for me because everything, as you can see, is a spell. So I can't cast while I'm silent. I can't do anything while I'm silenced. That's why we need to get silent immunity as soon as we can, because we rely on these shatters, which are spells. Did get the prophecies on it, so it's got ruin and treason on it. Let's try to hold it in place, stop it from getting next to me. It is taking very little damage. Luckily, so are we currently, but that can always change. Let's all is dust on top of it. Summon my monolith, mostly to generate insanity. Then I'm going to try to split it. Get a second one out here. We're silenced again, so I will try to walk out of the silence zone. Well, we'll pop regeneration. Has layered another silence on me because they're silencing each other. Oh no. Splitting the boss in two did not work out well for me there. Because they tried to silence each other, but just put the silence pools down at my feet. This one has so much healing, I don't know if we're going to be able to fight it, actually. I may need to just kind of tank through it, and then wait until a sandworm tunneler comes and lets me get out of here. Or I could just start Rod of Recalling. But because it has so much, it has mitosis and anti-magic shield, and it's naturally a tanky base unit type, we are having a lot of trouble actually dealing damage to it. So we'll try just a little bit more. We'll see if we can do anything. Herald Summon should help. We actually have fought this thing for long enough that the Herald came back. Alright, now it is taking some damage from my Herald. But it's splitting that damage off into these bloated oozes. And it healed for full. Alright, well... That's, I would say, a grim sign for our ability to kill it when the Herald of Oblivion got summoned and left it at 90% health. I'm gonna give it one more shot, and then I'll start recalling if this doesn't work. Pop my regeneration. Put the entropy on this thing. Okay, it is now taking a bunch of damage, but it silenced me, so I can't follow up on this at all. Let's step down to get out of the silencing effect. It healed itself a bunch. Silence has worn off, so I will Dark Whispers it. It's just used its big heal, though, so we should be okay. Oh, let me pop this and get rid of that global slow. That's a big problem, was we were acting 30% slower. Not gonna split it and make a second boss. Let's get a Void Star back and deal a little damage to it. Pop all his dust to try to keep it with all the debuffs on it. Tanking 0. What is blocking the damage on this thing? Not certain, 100% certain why it was taking no damage there. The anti-magic shield, maybe. Yeah, okay. So it's blocking with its anti-magic shield, and it has such high equilibrium, it's never gonna have the anti-magic shield break. couple more prophecies, though, and we can, I guess, start stacking Nile on it again soon. Let's pop my regeneration as well. I think we're going to be able to kill it with 1 or 2 more summons, but this is going to take a minute. I got to pop this, remove the global slow, and even though it's bad for my... I blinked right into the silence effect, or to where it then put the silence effect. We'll step back out of here. It's not getting a lot of failed turns either. Trying to make sure I'm generating insanity. Cleanse that slow. And it is back up to 87%. All right, we have summoned. It's down to 10%. Can we finish it? Aha! All right, well, that was like a 15-minute fight. I'm not sure how much longer the Sandworm Lair is going to last. So, given that that fight was a fairly epic conclusion, and this video is already going quite long, I think we're going to make the cut here. And we'll finish the Sandworm Lair at the beginning of the next video and get into the next Tier 2 dungeon. But, as always, my friends, thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, I hope you've been enjoying this series. I know I have been enjoying making it. And, of course, feel free to subscribe to my channel, leave a comment to please the algorithm, blood for the blood god algorithm, comments for the algorithm throne, and I will catch you next time. Cheers, folks. GG.